The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Evelyn Carter stood before the assembled delegates. Her dark eyes swept across the amphitheater, taking in the hundreds of species that comprised the governing body of known space. Crystalline Zephyrians shimmered in their containment fields. The towering Krithic delegates loomed like living mountains, and the hive mind collective pulsed with bioluminescent communication. "You dare bring this proposition before us, human?" High Counselor Thexmer's voice reverberated through the chamber, his forearms gesturing dramatically. "Your species has been part of this council for barely 3 solar cycles, and already you presume to dictate terms?" Evelyn remained calm, her posture relaxed but confident. Behind her, Theo Morrison, her military liaison, stood at attention in his Terran defense uniform. He'd warned her this would be contentious, but she hadn't expected such immediate hostility. "With respect, High Counselor," Evelyn began, her voice steady and clear, "I'm not dictating terms. I'm offering a warning." A ripple of what could only be described as laughter moved through certain delegations. The Vixori ambassador, a being composed primarily of sentient gas, swirled with colors that their translator rendered as amusement. "A warning?" Thexmer's mandibles clicked. "The Craxi Empire threatens to engulf the Outer Rim. The hegemony of 6 has already claimed 14 colony worlds. This war has been building for decades, and it will reshape the balance of power in this galaxy. Every species must choose a side, including yours." Evelyn glanced back at Theo, who gave her an almost imperceptible nod. She took a breath and continued, "That's precisely why Terra must remain neutral. You're asking humanity to involve itself in a conflict we barely understand, between powers that have been enemies since before our ancestors climbed down from trees. We've been in space for less than 2 centuries. We've been part of this council for 3 years, and you want us to commit our fleets, our resources, our lives to your ancient grudges? It is not a matter of choice." The Craxi ambassador rose, his segmented body unfolding to its full, imposing height. "All council members must contribute to collective defense. It is the law. Collective defense." Theo spoke for the first time, his voice cutting through the rising murmur of debate. "This isn't defensive. Both the Craxi and the hegemony are expanding into disputed territories. You're asking us to pick which empire we'd prefer to conquer half the galaxy." The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted, chirped, and broadcast their outrage through various means of communication. Evelyn waited for the chaos to subside, using the moment to study her opposition. Humanity had been so eager to join the galactic community. First contact had been peaceful, miraculous even. The discovery that they were not alone in the universe had unified Earth in ways nothing else could. But in 3 short years, Evelyn had learned that the galaxy was not the enlightened federation humanity had imagined. It was political, messy, and driven by the same power struggles that had plagued Earth for millennia. Just on an incomprehensible scale, order. Thexmer's voice boomed. "The human speaks out of ignorance. You know nothing of the hegemony's atrocities, of the Craxi's just claim to, we know enough." Evelyn interrupted, a dangerous edge entering her voice. "We know that you've been fighting wars across this galaxy for thousands of years. We know that species rise and fall, alliances shift, and the cycle continues. What we don't know is why we should sacrifice our people for it. Because it is the price of civilization." The hegemony's delegate, a serpentine creature with iridescent scales, hissed, "You benefit from council trade routes, from our technology, from our protection. Now you must pay that debt." Theo stepped forward, standing beside Evelyn. "Protection? From what? The only threats we've encountered since joining have come from within this council. Pirates using technology sold by council members, corporate raids by supposedly friendly species, and now a draft into someone else's war. You speak of debt," Evelyn added, her voice growing stronger. "Let me tell you about human history. We nearly destroyed ourselves dozens of times. Nuclear weapons, biological warfare, climate collapse, artificial intelligence run amok. We survived it all by learning one crucial lesson: wars of expansion and ideology consume everything they touch. They don't end until there's nothing left to fight over. Your primitive conflicts cannot compare," Thexmer began, "can't they?" Evelyn's eyes flashed. "Counselor." Your species' last great war lasted for 100 years and depopulated 17 star systems. The Vixori dispersal wars made 3 nebulae uninhabitable for carbon-based life. The Collective's Unity campaigns forcibly absorbed 86 species. Should I continue? Silence fell over the chamber once more, but this time it was different, contemplative, uncomfortable. Humanity may be young, Theo said quietly, but we're not naive. We've seen this story before. In our history, empires that forced allegiance from unwilling participants always fell. The only question was how much they destroyed on the way down. Evelyn pulled up a holographic display, showing Terra and its modest colonial holdings. We're asking no, we're telling you leave Terra out of this war. Not because we're cowards, not because we don't value our council membership, but because someone needs to remain outside this madness. Impossible, the Craxi ambassador declared. The vote has been called. All members must commit forces. Then we vote no, Evelyn stated flatly. And we invoke our right as a sovereign species to refuse military conscription. There is no such right. Vexmer's voice reached a fever pitch. Then there should be, Theo responded. Or is this council simply another empire wearing a prettier mask? The chamber descended into chaos once more, but Evelyn noticed something different this time. Some delegates weren't arguing, they were thinking. The representative from the Lumini Collective, a peaceful species that had long objected to military interventions, watched her with what might have been approval. Several minor species delegates had gone quiet, contemplative. If you refuse to honor council law, Vexmer threatened, there will be consequences. Evelyn smiled, though there was no warmth in it. Counselor, humanity didn't claw its way up from extinction events and world wars to be threatened into someone else's meat grinder. We're offering an alternative. Let Terra be neutral ground, a place where your diplomats can meet, where refugees can find sanctuary, where maybe, just maybe, you can remember that there are solutions besides violence. And if we refuse? The hegemony delegate asked. Theo's hand rested on his sidearm, a gesture not lost on anyone present. Then you'll learn why humans have a saying, don't start none. Won't be none. We didn't come to the stars looking for a fight, but we sure as hell know how to finish one. Evelyn raised her hand, silencing Theo's implicit threat. It won't come to that, because deep down, all of you know we're right. This war will cost trillions of lives and accomplish nothing except deciding which empire gets to dominate the next era. Humanity is offering you a way out, a neutral party that has no stake in your ancient conflicts. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, the Lumini Collective's delegate rose. The human ambassador speaks wisdom. I move to table the conscription vote and open negotiations for a neutral Terra accord. Seconded. Came a voice from the Vixori delegation, then another, and another. As Evelyn and Theo left the chamber hours later, the vote to allow Terra's neutrality had passed by the narrowest of margins. The war would continue without them, but humanity had drawn its line in the cosmic sand. Think they'll respect it? Theo asked as they walked toward their shuttle. Evelyn looked up at the stars visible through the station's dome. For now. And when they don't, they'll remember why you don't corner a species that survived itself. In the end, the galaxy learned what Earth had known all along. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to fight someone else's war.